So today we're leaving the house, we're going for a little walk around the area. So we'll begin walking down my drive. And this is our bit of land. This isn't access to anywhere other than our house. And we are putting fencing part the way down with a gate, but then leaving the rest of this area open. There are no neighbours in sight. Any of the houses we can see from our house are no residents. They're either empty or just used for weekend retreats. So we get to the end of my plot. This end is the narrowest point of our land. You'll see how thin this Ampi says. So we can either go left from here, or where we're going today is down here. Now this is actually a road officially, but it doesn't go anywhere other than residential. So this is only used by about 3 different vehicles because it just goes to some farms down here. So it's not actually used at all. I'll just do a little zoom in to show you in the distance what we can see. It's 7:30 in the morning, so the sun's not up fully and bright yet. So as you can see here, this is the side of our plot, as I say, the absolute narrowest point, and this is the carob tree where, because the goats chew onto it, it dies. This is why you have fence around partial parts of your land in Cyprus, because you only need to fence in producing trees. You don't always fill in with a fence your whole plot, but these trees don't matter to us, and this old fence was here. Gradually we will replace the whole fence. So let's walk down here a little bit. Obviously, as you saw, the road was very rocky, so I do apologise if I bounce you around a little bit. So as I say, this is the narrowest part of our plot. I'm trying to watch where my feet go and what I'm doing for you. So here is this gate I talk about at the end of my hugel beds. This was the old driveway into the plot. Let me just have a quick looky over the fence. And as you see, this is where the last ones of my hugels are, by the borehole, and the area where the tap is that Mike made for me. So again, we just pan round quickly. I just wanted to give you bearings of where I'm walking. That's why I've done that today. So again, it's not full sun yet, so it's still a bit hazy today. So let's continue on down and I'll show you where it goes this direction. By the way, this area after our fence is actually 2 empty plots that no one's interested in. They are both owned. The second one, the man's actually died and has no relatives, and the first one next to our house, he's just got, but he doesn't want anything with it. It's just a thing out here to have land, shows wealth. So there's never really going to be anything there. And then the third plot after there is a house. A man did live there when we first came here, but he's died, and that will never be lived in again because the inheritors actually asked a price for it, and somebody offered to buy it for the full price, and then they decided they didn't want to split up the property, selling it and also taking a share. So they decided they wouldn't sell it after all, but they don't live in this country and they've got no intentions of coming and using it. So it's very weird, but that is the only house you actually see from our property. And there's also a house down this little driveway here to the left, but again, this isn't lived in full time. It's just used for weekends and parties. So we'll continue on down. You get quite a nice view here of the sea. So we're heading down towards the sea. We're not going to get that far today, we're just going partially down. It's quite good here. It's a slope, but it's doable. It's more a case of being careful you don't slip on the loose rocks and gravel. It's harder to walk up this area because it's slow incline, but when you walk up it you realise it's more steep than it looks. So this is the gate into the second empty field before the house that I've just spoken of. There's a little pathway off to my left. Now on the right we're approaching the gates to the house that I've spoken of. When you walk it down it's actually quite a long way, but when you look at the house it does seem a lot nearer than it actually is. It's actually quite a long way down. I will do another walk another day round the side of this house so you can see it. He hand built it himself. It's actually quite modern. It's not an old Cypriot house. And again, you might be able to see some of the views in the distance. So carry on walking down. Gets a little bit flatter for a while. As I say, the good thing about where we live, though it's part way up a mountainside, it's not like you've got to tier your garden because it is quite flat. And I'll just show you the road so you can see it's not used. There's just about 2 tracks there, and the goats use it more than cars, so that gives you a bit of an idea. So again, we have another little pathway up here we can follow one time, but we're going to keep going down. As you can see it's much flatter now, but we're still very high above the sea level. This is at the end of the house's plot. This is the corner of his fence by this bush, and one time when the grass has died down I'm going to take you on a lovely walk down this way. When you go down this way, this is the start of the walk to my hiking video that I've done, so I'll put a link to that and you can see that another time, and there's actually the old riverbed. So we will carry on walking down. Again, still nice and flat for a while. You just have to watch that you don't slide on the loose stone. Here you get a view of the bay in the distance. It's very hard to know what time of day to film here because when the sun's really up and you can see things much clearer and the haze goes, it's too sunny to actually film. So I hope you've got a shot of the bay. That's Avdumu Bay, which is a little drive away, but a nice little beach that locals use. Life, all wild vegetation all around. It's a great area just to walk if you want to go quietly and not talk when you're recording, and you will come across all sorts of wildlife, wild hares, rabbits, snakes if you like. That's why I keep out of the long grass during this time of year. I wouldn't walk in amongst all of the grass. Hope you can see some of the view. I won't know till I edit it. Maybe you can see some of our lovely landscape. It's just so quiet and beautiful here. We're walking down obviously towards where the main roads are to get out and about. So you might start to hear some cars in the far distance, because it's the time of day when all the work traffic goes across, and there's a freeway not far, so it links to that. So you have trucks and things right down the bottom here, but of course where we live you can't hear that, it's too far away. So as you see now, we're approaching some farms. So any fences now are farms, but there's no farms here where people actually live on the farms. So even though we have farms about, they are not residential. We only actually have one full-time resident who is in walking distance to us. Quite a walk, not this direction. I'll do that another time so you can see. And he actually owns a goat farm nearby. It's not the farm where he lives. He's built a house further away on another plot of land. And the goat farm of his is the one I've recorded the baby goats being born. So I'll probably link that as well at the bottom so you can see his baby goats. So again, this is farmland. And then again you can see the next bit of the walk dips down a little bit. So it's a nice slow incline, so it's perfect for walking. And now you'll see in the distance the British bases, which we are not anything to do with the British bases. And we're not on their land or anything to do with what they call the SBA. We are in Cypriot Republic territory. I'll zoom in on that for you. We have been in there. It's full of graffiti and the like. And when they go for their runs round here, they always throw their water bottles everywhere. So if you happen to see any rubbish water bottles around our area, that's where they've come from. So we have choices of direction again when we get down here. Again, these farmlands, this isn't animals, this one, this is olive trees mostly. You can see all these olive trees. And then there's a driveway here with another farmland. To my left here's another path we could go if we choose to go that way. No, we keep going down I think today. So again, you'll just see tyre marks where vehicles use it to get to different parts of their land. I've got to be careful now because the sun's that way, so that might disrupt the filming. So the reason the hose is all rolled up like this is because they pull them up to plough around their trees, get up all the grasses, and then they lay the hoses again when they want to water. So again, this is another path we could take that takes you to some more farms. Again, no residents. And this farm here is, I think this is all olive trees. Yes, I don't think he has anything else. This is all olive trees. So I'll carry on round here. This gets to the bit that I quite like. Becomes quite meandering. It's more countrified. So we continue around this property of olive trees. And continue with our walk.